I still remember the exact second everything went dark. Not just on my screen. I mean the kind of dark that swallows sound, where you suddenly realize how loud silence can be. One moment, I was staring at 3 monitors full of code and data migration graphs for a client who was paying 5 figures an hour for my team to keep their system online, and the next, the world went still. No ping, no hum, no glow, just the sound of my own breath and the faint ticking of the wall clock. The project manager on the call had just asked, "Derek, please tell me this migration isn't disruptive?" And then he disappeared mid-sentence. My heart sank. I stared at that hateful little gray dinosaur on my browser, the one that means no internet. And for a long moment, I just sat there, frozen. The dinosaur stared back, smug, unbothered, completely unaware that it was currently costing a multinational company about $50,000 a minute. I muttered to no one, "No, this can't be happening." My fingers flew over the keyboard. Ping tests. Local router checks. Nothing. Not even an internal echo. My connection wasn't slow, it was dead. And the realization hit like a punch. This wasn't a provider hiccup somewhere in a distant data center. Something physical had gone wrong. Something brutal. I swiveled my chair toward the server rack behind me. My pride and joy. A custom rack I called Lucy, because she'd been with me through storms, outages, and that one Christmas when a lightning strike fried half the neighborhood's routers, but not hers. Usually, Lucy's front panel glowed a calm blue, a steady pulse of light that made me feel like everything was under control. But now it was red, angry red. The main fiber link indicator, dark, completely dark. "Come on, Lucy," I whispered, placing a hand on her cool metal. "Don't do this to me." I went through the ritual every IT guy knows. Unplug, wait 30 seconds, plug back in. The lights flickered, fans whirred. And then the red glow came back. The bad kind of red. That's when my phone buzzed. My wife, Nora, texted first. "Internet out for you too?" I was uploading my class video. "It's dead." Then my neighbor, Jim. "Bro, my gaming rig just booted me out." "Is Comcast down again?" The dread started building. When everyone goes down at once, it's not random. I switched to cellular. Opened the one place where truth, panic, and absurdity collide. Our neighborhood's Facebook group. Lakewood Estates, a paradise of beige houses, over-fertilized lawns, and people who post more about their hedges than their kids. The group was on fire. "Is anyone else's Wi-Fi gone?" "My toddler can't watch Cocomelon. He's screaming." My smart fridge just ordered 50 gallons of milk. And right in the middle of that chaos was a calm, condescending post from our HOA president, Margaret Lane. A photo of her perfect roses and a caption that read, "Dear residents, please direct all service complaints to your providers. This group is for official HOA communication only. Also, George, your trash bins are still visible from the road. Citation issued. Have a lovely day." I stared at that post, and something clicked in my head. Margaret, the same woman who fined me last spring because my garbage can was a shade too charcoal instead of onyx. The same one who threw a tantrum when the fiber company put little orange flags in the easement next to her azaleas. She'd been complaining for weeks about those ugly orange markers. My stomach turned. No way. No, she wouldn't. I slipped on my sneakers, grabbed my phone, and stepped outside. The silence was eerie. Normally, Lakewood sounded like a soundtrack of leaf blowers, barking dogs, and distant lawnmowers. But that day it was quiet. A cul-de-sac of confused suburban souls, standing on their driveways with phones held high, like they were trying to pick up a signal from another planet. At the end of the street stood the small brick building that served as our local police outpost. Usually, its sign flashed friendly reminders about speeding or bake sales. Today it was black. No power, no light. That's when my suspicion turned into certainty. If the police station's dark too, this isn't just Netflix down. I followed the row of orange utility flags that marked the buried fiber line. They ran straight along Margaret's property, right where she grew her beloved roses. And then I saw it, a gash in the earth, 3 feet long. Next to it, a thick orange cable, sliced clean through, the glass strands inside glittering under the morning sun. I crouched down. A landscaper's shovel would have mangled it, crushed it. This was a precision cut, sharp, deliberate, one clean motion through Kevlar and glass. My jaw tightened. "You actually did it, you crazy woman." I snapped photos, Close-ups of the cable, the trench, and the corner of her immaculate white fence. Evidence. That's when I heard tires on pavement. A police cruiser rolled up, and a young officer stepped out. Couldn't have been more than 23. "Sir, please step away from the wire," he said, clearly out of his depth. "It's not just a wire," I said, standing. "That's the main fiber trunk for the whole subdivision. And I think I know who cut it." Before he could respond, another cruiser screeched up. A bigger, angrier SUV. Out stepped a man built like a cinder block with a mustache that could file paperwork by itself. His name tag read Sergeant Cole. "What's going on here?" he barked. "Your rookie here found our crime scene," I said. "That," I pointed at the cable, "is why your building down the street looks like a haunted house right now. You've got no network. Number 911 dispatch. No plate checks. You're flying blind." Cole squinted, trying to process it. "So call the company," he said. "Why are you touching it? You the one who did this?" I held back a sigh. "Sergeant, I'm the guy who pays HOA dues to live in this overpriced bubble. I also happen to be a network architect. And right now, your entire precinct is offline because someone decided aesthetics mattered more than infrastructure." He crossed his arms. "You got proof?" "Oh, I've got more than proof," I said, holding up my phone. "I've got the dumbest motive in the history of crime. The HOA president's flower bed." The sergeant wasn't laughing yet, but the rookie was trying hard not to. "So what do we do?" Cole finally asked. I took a breath. "You're not going to like this, but I can get you back online. Not through your ISP. They'll take 3 business days and a prayer. I mean right now. I can reroute your systems through a federal continuity network." He frowned. "Eh, what?" "Think of it as the government's secret backup internet. Designed for disasters, hurricanes, wildfires, dumb decisions by people named Margaret. Your station already has a dormant connection, but it's manual. You don't have the setup to switch it." "I do." He studied me, probably debating if this was the part where he arrests me or lets me save his job. Finally, he said, "You touch anything in that building you're not supposed to, and I'll personally make you explain it to a cellmate named Bubba." "Fair enough," I said. 5 minutes in your server room. That's all I need." The rookie, Officer Bennett, escorted me inside. The server room was more like a storage closet that had given up on life. Dusty cables drooped like jungle vines. Old Dell servers wheezed. A Netgear switch sat crooked on a shelf. "Sweet mercy," I muttered. "This setup's older than my college debt." Bennett hovered nervously behind me. "Is that bad?" "Bad? It's a cry for help," I said, pulling out my laptop. I found the main switch, still warm, still receiving power, but the fiber port was dead. Above it was a single red-capped port labeled COG Link, DHS. I popped off the cap, blew on it like an NES cartridge, and plugged in the line I'd traced from the wall. Nothing yet. It needed activation. "Okay," I whispered, cracking my knuckles. "Let's wake the beast." I tethered my phone's 5G to my laptop and opened a secure shell window. To Bennett, it probably looked like black magic. "What are you doing?" he asked. "Calling a friend," I said, typing commands that glowed green on black. gw.dhs.gov, 2200. The prompt asked for a password. I entered a long, ridiculous passphrase, then plugged a tiny USB key into my laptop, a hardware token I hadn't used in years. I tapped it once, and a stream of characters filled the screen. "Please tell me that's legal," Bennett whispered. "It's legal adjacent," I said. "Now hush." I hopped through authentication servers in Virginia, then Colorado, each handshake slower than the last. Finally, I reached the command interface. I typed, "Enable. Configure terminal. Interface GI1/48. Description emergency failover, Lakewood PD. No shutdown. IP address DHCP. Exit. Now we wait," I said. Propagation delay, a fancy way of saying it takes a minute for the satellites to notice us. Outside the closet, I heard Sergeant Cole pacing. "Anything yet, computer man?" "Patience, Sergeant. Greatness takes about 4 minutes. 2 minutes. Nothing. 3 minutes. Still nothing." My heart thumped in time with the dead amber light on the switch. And then, at 3 minutes and 58 seconds, the light turned green. Solid, glorious green. "Come on, baby," I whispered. And like dominoes, every other light on the rack flickered to life. The sound of fans spinning, systems rebooting, data rushing back. We stepped out of the closet just as the entire building came back to life. monitors glowing, printers spewing papers, radios crackling. Officers cheered. Cole just stared at me, half annoyed, half impressed. "You actually did it," he muttered. "Yeah," I said, closing my laptop with a click. "Just rerouted your police station through $1 billion federal backup network meant for national emergencies. So, maybe don't stream Netflix at lunch." An hour later, a beat-up pickup truck rolled up outside. Masons trenching and repair painted on the door. A big guy climbed out, stomach first, holding a coffee the size of his head. "This the fiber mess?" he asked. We walked him to the crime scene. Mason knelt by the trench, grunted once, and said, "Yep, cut clean. Anvil shears, $50 at Home Depot. And see these? Size 7 gardening clogs. Lady did it." Cole looked at me. I just raised an eyebrow. "Shall we?" We marched up Margaret Lane's front path like an oddly assorted parade. A cop, a rookie, a contractor, and one very tired IT guy. Margaret answered with her usual sugary smile, holding a tiny watering can. "Sergeant," she said brightly, "to what do I owe this visit? If it's about those unsightly flags by the curb, I've already handled them." "Oh, we know," I said before Cole could speak. Her smile twitched. "Handled what, exactly?" "The main fiber line for 5,000 residents and your local police department," I said. She blinked, feigning innocence. "Oh, don't be dramatic. It was an eyesore. And per Bylaw 17, Section C, Paragraph 4, the HOA reserves the right to." Cole cut her off. "Ma'am, what you did is not an HOA issue. It's a federal crime, willful destruction of critical infrastructure." Her face went pale. The watering can slipped from her hand. "A federal what? That's ridiculous. I was protecting the neighborhood's standards." Cole's tone stayed even. "Margaret Lane, you're under arrest under US Code Title 18, Section 1362. He pulled out the cuffs. The look on her face, pure disbelief melting into outrage, was something I'll never forget. "You can't do this. I'm the president. I am the HOA. "Not anymore," I muttered. Half the neighborhood was watching from behind curtains, some openly filming. It felt like a season finale. By the next morning, ISP crews were on site, painstakingly fusing the delicate glass strands back together under magnifiers. I sat in my office, basking in the hum of Lucy's fans, the rhythmic blink of green lights, and the sweet, low ping of connectivity. I was back online. Odal International lost a few million in downtime, but compared to the satisfaction of seeing Margaret's mugshot on the local paper, priceless. Nora called during lunch. "So let me get this straight," she said. "You illegally accessed a government network, fixed a police station, and got the HOA president arrested for sabotage?" "In that order," I said. She sighed. "You realize you're probably on a watch list now, right?" Before I could answer, my other line beeped, the police department. I switched over. "Hey, Derek. It's Bennett," the rookie said. "Just wanted to say thanks. The guys are calling you the fiber wizard. Some even want to put up a plaque in the server closet." "Please don't," I groaned. "Oh, and there's a petition on the neighborhood page to nominate you as the next HOA president." I froze. "You're kidding." "Nope. You're winning by a landslide." "Bennett," I said slowly, "if anyone asks, tell them I've moved to Alaska." That night, there was another knock on my door. This time, 2 men in dark suits stood on the porch. They didn't smile. "Mr. Hale," the taller one said. "I'm Agent Foster, FBI. This is Agent Ruiz, Department of Homeland Security." I just sighed. "Let me guess. Not here to sell cookies." Ruiz held up a tablet. "Yesterday, our systems flagged a major authentication anomaly from this address. We thought we were under cyber attack. Turns out it was you." "Yeah," I admitted. "About that." Foster frowned. "You bypassed 3 levels of encryption designed to prevent exactly what you did." "True," I said. "But you might want to fix your timing handshake vulnerability. You can infer partial key validity from response latency. Kind of an oversight, don't you think?" They just stared at me. 2 hours later, after a long debrief involving diagrams drawn on a pizza box, they concluded I hadn't meant harm, just saved a few thousand people and accidentally exposed a hole in their security. They made me sign a stack of NDAs thicker than my router manual and handed me a polished DHS challenge coin. "For your civic enthusiasm," Ruiz said dryly. A week later, peace returned to Lakewood Estates. The new fiber line was buried deeper than Jimmy Hoffa, encased in concrete, and surrounded by warning signs threatening prosecution by every agency known to man. Margaret was out on bail, facing charges, and the HOA board was leaderless, which, ironically, made the neighborhood calmer than it had ever been. I was back at work, my servers purring happily, latency back to a crisp 4 milliseconds. That evening, Sergeant Cole showed up in jeans and a polo, holding a bottle of 20-year-old scotch. He handed it to me without a word. "For your help," he grunted. "Appreciate it," I said. "You know, I really thought you were going to arrest me that day." He actually smiled, barely. "My computer boots in under 30 seconds now. Consider us even." After he left, I poured myself a glass and sat back in my chair, watching the green lights flicker across Lucy's face. The Facebook group was still buzzing. Threads about Margaret's arrest had turned into memes, and at the top was a new poll. Who should be our next HOA president? Only one option: Derek, the fiber wizard Hale. 300 votes. I stared at it, took a long sip of scotch, and laughed quietly. "Not a chance," I said. "Not my circus, not my monkeys." Out my window, a new family across the street was setting up their lawn decorations. The husband hammered a bright pink plastic flamingo into the grass, a flag of defiance against everything Margaret once stood for. I watched him step back proudly, the flamingo gleaming under the porch lights. A new war was coming, the battle of taste, lawn, and plastic birds. But as long as my connection stayed green, I was fine. So what would you have done? Risked it all to fix what others broke, or watched the chaos and stayed out of it? Drop your thoughts below. I've got a feeling this story's going to divide the comments.